I'm doing my vermiculture. Vermiculture, as you know, is another element in the VA system, as VA stands for Vermin Aquaponics. So this is where I get my worms for my system, where I get my worms for feeding the fish, and also worms to control the microbiomes in the system, in the grow beds. These things you see, which are brick structures, these are what I use as artificial grow beds to grow your vegetables. These contribute to what we say the no-dig gardening concept, whereby we have this one working as the grow bed, where I'm using these stones, or I can say quarry. Some of them I'm hand picking them from the surrounding areas, so I can say there are surrounding fields, and some of them are the granite stones which are crushed by commercial companies. And also the next grow bed is this one, which is going to be using the raft system, where the plants will be just floating, like in this bed, they will be just floating on top of water. The water will be circulating back to the fish pond, which is just behind these grow beds. So the water will be coming here from the fish pond, and the plants in the raft system, which will be floating in the air, will be absorbing all the nutrients, or I can say the excess ammonia, and the water will flow back purified. So this is the kaolite, or the raft, which I will be using, and these are the cups which the plants will be planted in. It's either I can recycle using these ice cream cups, or I can also use these commercially made another system cups, also, which you can implement in this same farming system, which is using the PVC pipes. These ones you can just the advantage of these ones, you can use them to do vertical farming, whereby on top of these brick made grow beds, these ones can even come up here, and I can still be able to plant my crops in here, and I can even bring them even a little bit down to use this available space within the grow beds, so that I make sure I utilize all the space that I have. The nice thing about these grow beds, especially as you can see the height, even someone on a wheelchair is able even to work on these grow beds. So it is good in that even when you see people who are disabled, some of them are not able even to do gardening because they cannot dig, they cannot weed. But with this gardening concept, you see someone is able to even come with his wheelchair, or even come to do his gardening without digging or weeding. Just by coming to these stones here, you can just open a hole, and then you plant your things, and then you just cover. Given that the watering system is automated, the pumps are there, and this way on my system I'm using solar system, which is powering this whole system. This is work in progress. So I'm going to eventually, when I have internet, for now, just for testing my results, or my experiments, I'm using a Econet dongle, given that we have got a booster which is about 1 kilometer from here. So I'm using this Econet dongle to do my test there. Whenever I do my coding, I connect to the internet using the Econet dongle. Connected to the internet is if instead of doing the manual control, the manual testing of water pH using these manual pH test kits, or this one here, with this circuit here, and the sensors which are in the fish pond, and these sensors which are in the fish pond, I'm able to get my readings remotely when I'm connected to the internet. That is, I can get my water pH level in the fish pond, water level in terms of the water level, the quantity of water in the fish pond, and also the quantity of water in the grow beds. whenever the fish pond is full, the system will remotely tell me when I'm connected to the internet that no, now your fish pond is full or your fish pond needs some refilling. And also I'm able to do lots of things. I can say feed my fish remotely just by sending a tweet or an SMS message. I'm also able to check the water level in the grow beds and the temperature in the grow beds using the same system. I can basically say it makes life become easy, given that this system is something where I'm saying I'm not digging, you are not weeding, and hence you can also remotely monitor different parameters which need to be constantly monitored within the system. Also, if you see, using this solar system, I'm also able to connect it to my computer and hook it to the internet, that I can see how much power do I still have in my batteries. And also there is a camera which I'm integrating into the system, that I'm able to see what's actually happening underneath my fish pond. Okay. So in this Vermin Aquaponics system, which is basically going to be producing organic produce, this fish tank here is a 43,000 liter fish tank. It's got a capacity of holding 2,500 kgs of fish. And also these grow beds, they will be producing about 100 kgs of produce every week, of which most of the produce which will be in there will be, I will be growing herbs, which is actually dried. This is dried rosemary, this is dried thyme, and this is coriander, which we have managed to harvest from the experiments we have done with this system. I can say, even if you compare the quality with the quality that you get from the soil-based organic farming, I can say this is just the same and even much better, because the quantity you are able to harvest in here is, I can say, 4 times much greater than that which you get in the soil-based farming. And there is reduced labor cost here, because you are not even digging, you are not weeding, and given that everything is sort of centralized, diseases you can control them easily. This is an artificial setup, artificial grow bed, and after 3 months, that's when you can start harvesting your fish. And the herbs, usually they take about 30 days to start harvesting after planting, and these come quite handy. With this system, there is no soil here, so that means this system, you don't use soil. You don't need to be bothered about how fertile the soil is, because the nutrients for the plants, they are getting them from the water we are pumping from the fish pond. In the process of filtering the water from the fish pond, the plants are able to get the nutrients from the fish waste, which is dissolved in the fish pond, and hence they grow. So in areas which are arid, or in areas where they say we don't have land to plow, I can say rooftops, tarmac surfaces, flats in the CBD, or where the areas are said to be very rocky or mountainous, where there is no arable land, you can just come and implement this system. Given that the fact that this system can be done in using different techniques, like what I have shown you, the raft system, or this gravel, or even the PVC pipes, that is, we can safely say there is no land which you can say with this system you cannot do your vegetable gardening. This is a 7 by 1.2 meter grow bed, which you can grow even for a family of 6. They can grow their lettuces, their salad vegetables, their cucumbers. They can even grow a variety of horticultural crops, including even some fruit trees like purple trees, bananas. They can do well in this system. And also, the capacity of these grow beds compared to the soil-based on the same size, you are able to plant 4 times as much, as because the nutrients are being supplied already dissolved in the water. So instead of you scattering things maybe 15 to 20 centimeters apart. With this system, you can put your plants 5 centimeters apart from each other. That is the crop density in this kind of system is much more greater than that of soil-based farming. And given the fact that I'm using the earthworms to increase the microbial system in these grow beds, it increased the microbacteria that aids to the growth of the plants. So as I'm constructing or as I'm developing this system, I have integrated ICT technologies. This will enable me to remotely monitor, given the fact that I'm still at school, but I still want to see what's happening within my system and all the experiments and the researches that I'm doing, the results that I want to get or observe. I am in the process of testing the system I have developed to enable me to remotely monitor and control variables such as water levels within the grow beds, water temperature, even plant health, also to monitor the fish activity in the fish pond, water pH, water temperature, and also if there is any other intrusion within this system. So this circuit here and other components which I am holding, and some of them which are already in the water, like this one which is to monitor the amount of dissolved oxygen in the water, and this one which is able to read water pH, the amount of pH in the system. They are all connected to this system, which I can say I'm using a microprocessor integrated with wireless transmitters, the XB and ZigBee, which are able to remotely connect to my laptop wirelessly, and my laptop will act as a gateway to link these sensors to my Twitter account, my Facebook account, or my customized app, and I'll get this data from wherever I am. Even if I just go to my Twitter account, Facebook account, I'm able to get my water temperature, my water levels, and I'm able to even read my pH. In the case there is need to reduce the pH or to increase the pH, I just use the data I'm getting there to also send back the message to increase either water flow or to increase the frequency that the pump is pumping the water into the system. That will increase the flow and reduce the pH. Also, in case I want to also feed my fish, or I've modeled on a prototype using this small fish feeder that I can remotely send a text message, and this will respond if connected to the circuit. This will respond and rotate to release feed into the fish pond, and I'm able to feed my fish remotely without even coming here. So in the case that I'm not here and even there is no one here to help me administer different things that will be happening within the system, I will be able to use my internet-enabled devices to actually execute any other thing that I say I want to do here, and I'm able to get data from this system of what's happening. That is, I can safely say my system will be monitored while at least I'm not within the proximity of this communal or rural setup. So what I can say, my innovation on this whole system was based on, I can say, integrating these different components and making sure that they correlate to each other and they complement each other. Like the aquaponics system, I can say in America, there are people who have done it quite well, but it was in adopt and adapt strategy which I used, that I adopted that concept from America and made sure how best it would suit the climatic conditions that we have in Zimbabwe. Like the pH levels that they use in aquaponics in America and the pH levels that we require for our system here in Zimbabwe, they are truly different. And hence I had to say, for me to be able to balance those pH that they have in America and actually balance it in the concept of Zimbabwe, in the case of Zimbabwe, that's when I had to introduce the vermiculture, which I say the worms are helping me to even enhance the microbial activity, to enhance the pH from the liquid that I'm harvesting from the vermiculture. On the ICT part, I saw most people, they were only testing for pH in the water, but I added the sensors to say now I can say I have a camera which is connected to the system. This camera can help me see how the activity of the fish underwater can help me see the activity of the fish underwater, and also the pH sensor. I've added the oxygen sensors. I've added moisture sensors to help me control moisture in the grow beds. I've also added the water flow sensors to help. This will help me to regulate the flow of water within the system. I have added the element of also monitoring water levels in the fish pond and in the grow beds themselves. All this is helping me to actually improve on the ease of which we can manage these systems remotely, instead of just saying we are monitoring pH. But I've made sure that each and every variable that is concern or that is essential in the successful running and successful implementation of this project is well monitored and is well observed and controlled. It's a 40-watt submersible solar pump. It is very energy efficient. I'm able to pump this water from the fish pond, which has got nutrients from the fish waste, into the grow beds. This grow bed will act as a filter media for the water. So it's just a looping system whereby the water is coming from the fish pond, giving nutrients to the plants. The plants will filter the water and it goes back to the fish pond clean. So these water pumps also are going to be connected to this circuit. In case you, like what I have right now, it's like the internet I'm using. I'm using the dongle from Econet, but data is expensive. So this circuit I'm developing so that if one does not have internet but has got this circuit, it is able to be set on automatic control, that it will automatically control the variables within this system on its own, not connected to the internet, but it will be able to just store the data and it will be ready for retrieval whenever available. Until data is cheaper, then that's when we can say, yeah, we can freely say we can easily connect to the internet. But I have seen that data is expensive and I'm using a lot of money to connect this circuit to the internet to remotely get my data. But I've actually made it much more user-friendly in the case that in case you don't have money to buy data, you can just set everything to automatic and it will automatically control and monitor everything for you. What I can say here, my parents have always been involved in organic farming. I was doing the old organic farming way, which is said to be very labor intensive and which requires a lot of manual labor. But I've brought in technology to integrate with what they were doing. They were growing the herbs, they were doing all different sorts of things, and also they were very passionate about organic farming, but they lack the technology part, which I've brought, and I've made even farming easier with this VA system, which I can say my mom is actually loving and is seeing that besides just getting crops, she's now able to get fish from the fish pond and a variety of other really fresh and juicy vegetables from this system. All the money that I have used to do this mini commercial system, I was saving is from my own savings. You can say I was bootstrapping. Some of the money, I can say my mom also contributed, and also she's also contributing in helping with the monitoring. If I'm not here, she's helping with the monitoring and maintenance of the system. Some of the the things that I've done also was like the building of these grow beds. And so it was really a challenge to really get a builder who is able to really understand what I want to do. Builders will tell you, no, you don't know how to build, but things are built this way. But I had my own designs which I really wanted, and the specifications which I wanted for my things to work. So it was really a challenge to really get someone who would understand how to construct this. So I ended up losing a lot of money in building something, and you find that it's not performing according to the standards or say the expectations that you want, and I had to destroy and restart afresh. So that was a big challenge which costed me a lot of investment. I also invested in the solar system, which was quite expensive. Solar was a terrible or something else. Solar systems in Zimbabwe, they are very expensive. The batteries, the panels themselves, is something that costs that much, which you cannot believe. So roughly for now, in this work in progress, I've pumped in around $2,500 to $3,000. For the fish which I started with, I had to use almost $200 to buy the seed from other fish farmers. For this, I had to buy the cement, the bricks. I had to find people who could mold me bricks, which were costing about $30 per thousand. Cement I was buying from Marondera, so I was also pumping in money for the transportation, piping and other things, connections. I had to actually, some of things I had to DIY myself, the electrical connections, the solar connections. I had to just say I think I can do them myself. So now I'm in the process of also trying to find out how I can best reduce the cost of these stones. These ones which I bought from a granite producing company, they were charging around $60 per cubic, of which for this grow bed I will need something like 3 cubics, which will cost me about $180. So I'm just trying to figure out how best I can reduce that cost. What I want to achieve with this system is to show the viability of this project. So I want to make sure that this one will actually make people believe in this VA system, that we can actually produce something. So what the challenges I can say I'm facing here is actually to complete this system. I can say these are becoming very expensive. I will need almost about 5 cubics of these, and I'm failing to actually buy enough to fill this grow bed. I'm also facing the challenge of water, from the water to fill my fish pond from the wells. I will also need a bore to supplement I can say I need groundwater to refill my fish ponds in case the water levels have dropped. I'm also in need of internet, which is, I can say, affordable and cheap, to actually be able to test on commercial basis that my circuit will really be able to execute what I have, the objectives that I have set, to say, no, if it's going to be remotely controlling this system, it will be able to do so, and it will be able to give reliable data to the user. I'm also saying on this system I need it to be put under greenhouse, that is to achieve maximum production, and also to increase even the capacity of the fish ponds. So I will need the dam liners that I will use. I will need the greenhouse material to just put this small piece of land under greenhouse and make sure that I show the viability and how productive it is, given the case that it's something that I want to be replicated in most parts of Zimbabwe.
For these and other stories, visit our website www.263chat.com. Follow us on Twitter @263chat and like our Facebook page 263chat.